Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Garak here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker job review video. Now I'm just going to come right out and say this is going to be a quick one, considering all the others, and it's going to be a little different. If you've read the title, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I'm still in the process of leveling more combat jobs. I'm sorry. I blame Elden Ring, I promise you. As soon as I get all the Elden Ringness out of my system, a Reaper video is coming. A Reaper review will be coming. As soon as I can. I promise. I'm sorry. We'll blame Elden Ring. It's all Elden Ring's fault. I'm too obsessed with it. Nevertheless, we're going to move forward, and we're going to talk today about Disciples of the Hand. Not Blacksmith in particular. It just so happens that Blacksmith is the only one I have at level 90. Now, why am I doing this in this method? So I decided that instead of just individually reviewing each crafting class and individually reviewing each gathering class, it seemed kind of redundant because they're all essentially the same. Like, legit. If you take a look at my character profile here, you'll see all my other crafting jobs are up to like 84, 83. Most of them are 82. We won't count Culinarian right now. We won't talk about Culinarian. But nevertheless, I literally use the same gear, the same melds, and the same friggin' macro to do all the crafting on all of the jobs. So, yeah, doing each one individually is going to yield nothing. So the main picture of why I'm doing this is really just to cover, a short kind of review of like how things have changed since the early days of crafting, how easy or fun, I guess, leveling is these days, because that's the main thing about the crafting. I mean, crafting is crafting. You're just creating gear for yourself or for others to purchase. But I'm also going to cover like what are the pros and cons, what are the perks of leveling your grafter jobs, what are some of the cons, and is it really worth it? More from the perspective of a player like myself, who is, total unga bunga. I hit things with my axe and make things get dead. I'm a combat focused player. So I'm gonna go over all of that in this video. That's the main reasons why I'm doing this. I just figured it's just something nice and quick to give you guys some filler until I can get some more interesting jobs leveled up. And I'll be doing the same for the Disciples of the Land as well. And before you all attack me like, well, you don't have them all up to 90, man. What's going on? Again, remember what I said. They're all literally the same, except for the damn tools that they're using. So doing each one individually is just silly. So we're going to start this first part off of just, what has changed since the early days of like A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward, and like how leveling and just, doing crafting as a whole is nowadays in Endwalker. And basically Endwalker, being a crafter in Endwalker is pretty easy. You get your materials, you figure out what the best rotation is, you macro it, and you have a field day. Not to say that back in A Realm Reborn we didn't have the ability to macro abilities. We could, but it wasn't always as efficient sometimes. Like, you would change things up. We had so many skills all over the place. Like these three hotbars wouldn't be enough for everything that we had, because there were different levels. So sometimes you'd want to do, like, for instance, I think Great Strides had like 2 or 3 different levels, if I'm not mistaken. So you'd want like Great Strides 2, Great Strides 3, and each one would have its purpose and its use based on what it was you were crafting. Are you crafting something quick and easy at like 40 durability, or are you crafting a big item at like 80 durability? All of that's just kind of out of whack. They've really taken a lot of the abilities and just condensed them all into one, or just, one whole ability. There's really no, like, I don't really think there are any like 2 abilities anymore now that I think about it. Like, the touches do have ranks. Like, we have basic touch here, and then we have advanced touch. So this is like rank 3. That's rank 1. You can tell by the different stars. But I mean, aside from that, everything else is basically just, there's no rank to it. And I like that. They've kind of just condensed everything and made it simpler. Not simpler, but just more manageable, and prevents hotbar bloat. Also, back in A Realm Reborn, you guys gotta remember it was a grind to level your crafting classes. We didn't have mass turn-in quests like you do from the Crystallarium and whatever it's called in Charlian, in yeah, Charlia. I don't even know where I am in the Charlian capital. Basically, you know, you get, instead of just individual job quests, you get this one like main job quest that you can craft the items, turn them all in, and you get a big bunch of experience for it. Yeah, we didn't have that back then in A Realm Reborn or even Heaven's Ward. We had leaf quests. That was it. We had leaf quests. It wasn't until, I want to say, around the time of, I think it was Final Coils, or like when Second Coils had been out for a while and Final Coils was about to be released, that they introduced the first beast tribe that revolved around purely crafting. That was the Ixali. And that's how I got my start in doing crafting, because I used the massive amounts of experience you could get from it to level my crafters, because otherwise, for me, it was just a slog. It was a grind. It was almost more worth it to just grab 2-3 stacks of just raw material and just sit there and just auto craft it for hours and just let it ride to get your XP. Nowadays it's pretty simple because we still have leave quests in case you're a little behind on your gear, but generally you're just going to spam collectibles. That's basically, oh, that's my crafting, that's my gathering rather, this is crafting. Collectibles right here, you got your collectibles tab. So this 50-60 collectibles, we didn't even, like in Heaven's Ward, that was a new thing, but it was a totally different system and it was a little more complicated to do. Now it's super dead as balls simple. You grab your materials, you craft the item, you turn it in, as long as it's, doesn't say what the max quality is, but as long as you max out its quality and you turn it in, bam, there you go. See you later. You get millions of experience, a little bit of gil, I think, for it too, and some scripts that you can turn in for materials, gear, logbooks to earn more recipes. It's a great system, but we didn't have that back in the day. I know collectibles got introduced in Heaven's Ward, but again, like I said, it was a totally different system back then than what it is now. Like, the basic of it was craft item, turn in, get scripts, use scripts to buy better gear. That was still in place, but the methodology behind it was a lot different. I'm not gonna go totally into it, but that's basically what has changed. Moving on to the next topic about how fun or easy it is to level your crafter classes these days. It's dirty. It's super easy. If you either have enough gil to buy your materials, or you just have enough materials on hand from leveling your Disciples of Land, you can easily level a single crafting job in just a few hours if you play your cards right. If you just bunk down and just focus on it, a couple hours and you can get from 80 to 90 like that. Super quick, it's super easy. And I don't know, for me, who's a more combat oriented player, easy leveling equals fun for me in terms of crafting, because I don't want to sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks just to level one crafter job and realize, like, oh man, that's one down. I've still got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 more to go. Like, yeah. Now, I get it. I haven't leveled them all up to 90. But remember, Elden Ring has been taking up all my time. Overall, I would say it is pretty fun to level your crafters now. I mean, yes, it's not really intuitive. It's not like engaging gameplay. You're not going to be like, oh, waiting for those procs and pushing the right skills at the right time. You're literally just going to use one macro the whole, from 80 to 90 all the way. You're going to use one macro and that's it. But it's generally enjoyable compared to way back in the day. So coming from that experience, I can definitely say it is much more enjoyable and, I guess, fun these days. To wrap up the video, like I said, it's going to be a quick one. We'll just talk a little bit about some pros and cons. So you might be asking, because I keep mentioning, like, as a combat-oriented player like Guruk, like, what? I have no interest in crafting at all whatsoever. Why would I be interested in it? Now, there's two big reasons for it, two humongous reasons for it. The first one, and you might not think this is a big deal, but if you run dungeons or raids a lot, this right here, you can repair your own gear. Seriously, like repairing your own gear in the long term ends up saving you so much in guild because you use all those grand company seals that you earn from everything under the sun, buy your dark matter with the grand company seals, and then you just use that to repair your gear. And you can repair anywhere. You can repair in the middle of a dungeon, you can repair in the middle of a boss fight. I think you can still do that. You can repair anywhere at any time. So it's like you don't ever have to worry about like, oh man, I jumped into the Savage Raid learning party and I didn't repair my gear. I'm only gonna get like 2 tries and then I got a dip. No, I mean if you level just one crafting class these days, I think. Now you might have to have them all up to a certain level, but as long as you have all of your crafters at least up to like 80 or 81, you can repair everything. You can repair it no matter what. The second, and this is an even bigger thing, is melding your own materia. I don't have a piece that I can really demonstrate, or materia I want to throw away, but you can meld your own materia. As you know, like, yeah, you can go to any major capital and there will be a materia melder NPC that you can go talk to, and you can pay them some gil. It's like 1,000 or 2,000 gil a piece of materia, and they'll meld your slots for you. But there's two different things for this. First of all, and the most obvious, is you'll save money. I know it's not much gil, but you'll save money. You don't have to pay somebody to meld your materia. And the second thing is when you have a crafted piece, HQ crafted piece like this, you'll notice I got 3 materia here, 3 here, 2. All of these pieces can be over melded. If you're not familiar with what that is, you will see pieces of gear that occasionally will say advanced materia melding allowed or advanced materia melding not allowed. What that means is when it's not allowed, you can only meld the 2 slots that are currently available on the piece of gear. If it says that it is allowed, there are actually 3 hidden slots underneath those initial 2, and you can do what's called over melding and meld more materia in there. So you can just push your secondary stats beyond the normal limits, or just stack in more secondary stats as a whole. So those are 2 humongous pros, like giant pros. You save money and you can meld your own materia. Like honestly, I think that's probably like the best thing about it. Like I'll put the time in to level a crafting class if it means I can meld all of my own materia and not have to either A, bother another player to try and do it for me, or B, pay an NPC to do it for me and lose the ability to overmeld. You know what I'm saying? The cons, I mean, really the only con I can see is just time. You know, it does, like, as fast as leveling your crafter jobs is these days, it does take time and it takes patience. It's not going to be as interacting or as engaging as slapping bosses around, but you know, it's there. It's still not the most fun thing to do in the world. So I think that's really the biggest, most glaring con out of them all. Overall, I would say, is it worth it? Yeah, I think it's worth it. At least, at the very least, if you're not going to get all of them leveled up and you're really only interested in melding your own stuff, at least get 1 job to max level so that you can meld all your own stuff. You don't need all of them. You only need 1, just 1. I think it's the same for repairs. Let me, oops, that's not what I want to do. Let me see. Repair level, weaver, leatherworker. Okay, so no, you do need to level all the different jobs to repair all of your gear. So if you take a look at your piece of gear, you'll see like my hammer. It says repair level blacksmith level 70. So as long as I'm a level 70 or higher blacksmith, I can repair it myself. So that's a bit of a drag, but still, it's still worth it in my opinion. So that's all I'm going to dump on this topic for now. My overall review is it's good. They're crafters. I don't really have much to say about them. I'm not going to be like, wow, they're fun, 10 out of 10. I mean, they're crafters. They do exactly what they're supposed to, which is craft stuff, and they meld your materia and they repair your gear. So, I mean, I just think instead of giving them like a between 1 and 10 rating, I'll just say thumbs up. Yes, it's worth it. Level at least 1 of them for the materia melding, or all of them if you want to do repairs, and just get it done and over with, man. Even for us combat oriented players. So that's going to be all I'm going to dump on this for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you are enjoying this or enjoying the series, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I hate plugging all the stuff, but I want to make my channel grow. So please hit the subscribe button. It'll really help me out on the channel, and it'll give you notifications whenever I post new videos and go live. So thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video.